Have you ever caught someone lying about something that seemed completely unnecessary? Maybe a friend exaggerated a story that was already interesting. Maybe a coworker blamed traffic for being late when the real reason was simply poor planning. Or perhaps you've caught yourself doing something similar. At first glance, it doesn't make much sense. If there is no major benefit to gain and no serious consequence to avoid, why lie at all? Most people assume that lying is a calculated decision. Someone lies because they want money, status, power, or protection. While that is certainly true in some situations, psychology suggests that many everyday lies have a very different purpose. The truth is that people often lie not because they want to deceive others, but because they want to manage emotions. Human beings are emotional creatures before they are rational ones. Our brains constantly seek comfort and avoid discomfort. Sometimes the truth creates tension, embarrassment, awkwardness, or fear. A small lie can feel like an easy way to escape those unpleasant emotions. Imagine someone asks whether you enjoyed a presentation. You didn't. You found it boring and unhelpful. Yet instead of saying that, you smile and say it was great. Why? Because the truth might create conflict. It might hurt someone's feelings. It might make the conversation uncomfortable. The lie becomes a shortcut to social harmony. In these moments, the goal isn't manipulation. The goal is emotional comfort. Psychologists sometimes refer to these as social lies. They are small distortions of reality designed to maintain relationships and reduce friction between people. In fact, many social interactions rely on a certain level of politeness that isn't completely honest. Think about how often people answer "I'm fine" when they are actually stressed, exhausted, or worried. Think about how often people compliment things they don't really like simply to avoid tension. These are not necessarily malicious lies. They are often attempts to keep social interactions running smoothly. The human brain is constantly balancing honesty against emotional consequences. And surprisingly often, emotional comfort wins. Another major reason people lie is to protect their self-image. Every person carries a mental picture of who they believe they are. We want to see ourselves as competent, responsible, intelligent, and capable. When reality threatens that image, many people instinctively bend the truth. A student who fails an exam may insist the test was unfair. An employee who misses a deadline may blame circumstances rather than admit poor time management. A person struggling financially may pretend everything is going perfectly. These lies are often directed as much toward ourselves as toward others. The brain works hard to preserve a positive identity. Admitting mistakes can feel painful because it forces us to confront a version of ourselves we don't want to see. Research has shown that people are remarkably skilled at justifying their own dishonesty. Most individuals do not think of themselves as liars. Instead, they create explanations that make their behavior seem reasonable. They tell themselves they were protecting someone's feelings. They say the truth wasn't important. They believe they were avoiding unnecessary conflict. These explanations allow people to maintain the belief that they are fundamentally honest while still engaging in dishonest behavior. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of lying is that sometimes people don't even realize they are doing it. Human memory is far less reliable than most of us imagine. Many people think memories function like recordings stored inside the brain. In reality, memory is more like reconstruction. Each time we recall an event, we rebuild it using fragments of information, emotions, expectations, and personal beliefs. As a result, memories can change over time. Details disappear. New details are added. Certain moments become exaggerated while others fade away. Eventually, people may tell stories that differ significantly from what actually happened, not because they intend to deceive, but because they genuinely believe their version of events. In these situations, the line between lying and misremembering becomes surprisingly blurry. Another powerful force behind dishonesty is the desire for social acceptance. Humans evolved in groups. For thousands of years, survival depended on belonging. Being accepted by the tribe increased safety, cooperation, and access to resources. Being rejected carried serious risks. Although modern life is very different, our brains still carry many of those ancient instincts. We want to fit in. We want to be liked. We want approval. This is why people sometimes exaggerate achievements, hide weaknesses, or pretend to share opinions they don't actually hold. Someone may claim to enjoy a popular trend simply because everyone around them does. Someone may act more successful than they really are to gain respect. Someone may hide their fears because they worry others will judge them. These behaviors are often driven by a deep psychological need to belong. In many ways, the fear of rejection can be stronger than the desire for honesty. Modern technology has amplified this tendency. Social media encourages people to present carefully edited versions of their lives. People often showcase achievements, vacations, celebrations, and successes while hiding struggles, failures, and insecurities. The result is not always outright lying, but it can create a distorted picture of reality. People compare themselves to these polished images and feel pressure to do the same. Gradually, the gap between reality and presentation grows wider. This raises an interesting question. If lying is so common, does that mean people are naturally dishonest? Not necessarily. Many psychologists argue that lying is often a byproduct of deeper human needs rather than evidence of bad character. People seek safety. People seek belonging. People seek respect. People seek emotional comfort. Sometimes those needs push individuals away from complete honesty. Understanding this does not mean we should excuse dishonesty. Trust remains one of the most important foundations of healthy relationships. Without trust, cooperation becomes difficult and meaningful connection becomes fragile. However, understanding why people lie can make us more compassionate. The next time someone tells a lie, it may be worth asking what fear, insecurity, or emotional need exists beneath the surface. Perhaps they are protecting their self-image. Perhaps they are afraid of rejection. Perhaps they are trying to avoid conflict. Or perhaps they are simply human. The truth is that lying reveals something important about human nature. It exposes the emotions people struggle to express openly. It highlights the gap between who we are and who we want to be. And in many cases, understanding the reason behind a lie tells us far more about a person than the lie itself. The next time you encounter dishonesty, don't just ask what is being hidden. Ask what emotion is being protected. Because behind many lies is a very human desire to feel safe, accepted, valued, and understood. If you enjoyed this episode, follow Mind Decode for more deep explorations into psychology, human behavior, and the hidden forces that shape our everyday lives.